G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a SIG MCX. This is a weapon made by SIG Sauer, but it is not a German-made weapon. It's an American-made weapon because it was made by, like, an American branch of SIG Sauer, developed in the USA, and you can tell that it's developed in the USA because it looks like an AR-15. It's got that Armalite-looking design. And in real life, these things are compatible with the M16 receivers and little bits and pieces, but you got to get adapters for it. And that's about all I know about this weapon after a quick Wikipedia search, because sometimes I like to learn about what I'm using to shoot stuff, even though the knowledge gained there is fairly irrelevant to what it will be, as according to the modder's vision in a video game. So what we're looking at here is a very skeletonized version of it. There's not a lot going on here. The stock is just this tube, which I guess has all of the gas and the springs and other buffering stuff to help with the recoil, so definitely want to put a stock on that, but you can have it completely, like, gone. You just have that tube there. Don't think that'd be super comfortable, but it's a thing. So what you can do with the receivers is whack it all the way up to auto powerful if you want it to be automatic, but if you want it to be semi-auto, you can chuck on an advanced receiver and you'll get yourself a good amount of damage with that. But we'll start off with making this the automatic one, and we'll use a reflex sight, make it a close range blaster type thing. We've got the legendary effect here if you want it. That's generally not so high on the list, but generally we don't use these, so this will be no exception. Now, I've got the materials here. What you can do is download an extra bit of this mod in the optional files. It's like 364 megabytes-ish of just textures and retextures you can use to make it a different color. I like black the best. That is just the default standard one that you get when this thing with the standard download, but if you want to have different colors, there's some good ones. I like the red one. It says blue here. We're getting mixed messages, but I think that's cool. It's kind of like the Blood Eagle paints where you've got red on top of black, kind of splattered like blood. It's kind of cool. But this one it's called Splinter. It says Ninja Turtle, and, you know, to show solidarity with Angry Turtle, who is in the shit right now, I'm going to paint this particular one in the Ninja Turtle colors in Splinter. So we can do that. Not with the magazine, though. I'm guessing we need to change the magazine. That's the standard one. I think it's the Stanag mag. But we can probably get a different one, and we can change the colors of that. So we're up onto the muzzles now, and what you can do is chuck these muzzle brakes on it, which will improve your recoil. I've found that the recoil on this isn't all that high or unpredictable altogether, so I probably wouldn't recommend any of these flash hiders or muzzle brakes because they just reduce your range and reduce your performance at range, therefore. But you can chuck suppressors on, which increases damage with Ace Operator. Look, I always want to use these things, so I'm going to pick the longest one here. And funnily enough, that's going to make this rocket up to almost 2,500 in value, which is nice. It's actually kind of huge. And you can chuck on stuff on the right rail, which... Is there a rail there? Have they just clipped... I guess they've just welded the rail onto the side there, so you can have a flashlight to illuminate in dark areas, obviously overriding your Pip-Boy flashlight. Or a laser sight, which improves hip-fire accuracy, which is kind of cool. Quite like that, the function. So, you know what? We'll chuck it on. Now we can chuck on a stock. So you've got the M4 stock. That's the one that you see the video game M4s has. And most of these you'll find that are just superior recoil and better aim with scopes. If I didn't have the suppressed thing here on the prefix, this would all be sort of marksman stocks, which increases your accuracy when aiming down sights. And looks like that most of these things are fairly similar in function. It's kind of just like a skin, I guess, change. And it's got a bunch of sights you can put on it. I generally always go for a basket sight on this because I think they're cool. Also, I got introduced into the basket sight from Fallout mods. So yeah, obviously it must be popular between modders. And there's also the Cobra sight. That thing's a thing in Battlefield 4 and 3. So I want to get one of those on. So we'll definitely grab one of those. And we've just messed up our things. That's kind of interesting. We equipped the thing and then it went something else. I guess it's because we've got a rail on the top now. You can have two laser sights if you want. I wonder if that stacks multiplicatively or additively, where you could just keep getting good hipfire accuracy. I feel like 2 and 3 is overkill, but we can chuck a flashlight on here if we want, and you can put a foregrip on the lower rail if you please. Most of these are just the same thing. Again, it's just sort of different skins for the same function. Plenty of customization for the sake of customization. Won't say no to it. Although, funnily enough, it's saying the fire rate is 450 now. Now, I've tested this, and it doesn't actually change anything, so we don't have to worry about throwing the weapon out of balance here. And you can get a slightly better ADS speed if you use the Schmeiser. Yeah, I'm gonna take a stab in the dark, and that's how it's pronounced. And you get better ADS speed, so it's helpful for close quarters fighting when you want to get aiming quickly. Now, we haven't touched the barrels yet, so we'll do that. And what you can do is extend the handguard without extending the barrel. So if you want to make it look like the suppressor is sort of integrated into the weapon, you can do that. But if you want to extend the barrel out and therefore increase your range, you can do that. And you can basically have any size or length of handguard there to any length of barrel you want, which I think is cool, including really, really short barrels, which you obviously... The function of those things is generally just slightly better AP usage at the cost of range, but we're going to make this as long as we can possibly get it. So 16 and 16 there, and it's just throwing off our thing again. Some of these mods, what they'll do is they'll have slots that are only available when other slots have been created or taken, so that's why when I equip something, it automatically just shifts me into a different thing. There is rail upper, like I was getting to before, and like that, you can just chuck on 3 laser sights if you want to. It'll be silly, but you can do it, and the game doesn't tell you no. And you can change it from a beam to a dot, or you could change it to on and off. So that's kind of cool, I quite like that. I'm going to make it a dot. And you can change the pistol grip if you want. There's a couple of things listed as better grip. Basically, again, it just looks like yet another... mod that just changes the looks of things. It's very cosmetic in that way. And you can change the material of the stock if you please. So we'll try to find Splinter. That's the turtle one. We've got Tactical Sprint or just Standard Sprint. This one requires Gun Nut rank 4 because, you know, you've got to be an expert on weapons to run with the gun pointed in the air. It's just a different animation. It's like if you are doing the Tactical Sprint in COD. That's what it'll do. The same sort of thing there. Okay, so here we go. We can change the material of this, and there's Splinter, so that all matches now. That's very good. And I haven't gotten to the magazines yet, so luckily for us, they've prefixed everything here, so we can just find mag and then go for it there. So you can have a P-mag, and most of these magazines have a separate reload animation where you can either just reload with one and throw the magazine out and rack on a new one, or you could have one mag already in your hand and you pull the mag that's already in the thing and then just load the other one. Both of them are fairly quick in the times of they reload, but it looks like that the quick reloads require slightly better gun proficiency, so I guess they are slightly better that way. And you can also have 60 round mags here, which these ones with the quick reload, they need 2 in Commander to get, and they're pretty good. They're probably the way to go because 60 rounds is... It's what you want, really. So we'll chuck that on. Although I'm fairly certain that these mags in real life are prone to a lot of jamming issues. So, unfortunate as that is, the show must go on. And mag material. Can we paint this one? No. But if I were to change this to something like a P-mag, I'm fairly certain at this point that we might be able to paint it. There we go. You can make it like a police. It's a police cop magazine. But we'll switch back to the 60 round mag, and I guess we'll get going. Okay, I missed out on the ammunition. So you've got full metal jacket, that's your standard. You can have armor piercing, which increases your damage and gives you more penetration. Or you can have hollow point, which gives you a lot more damage, but it doesn't look like there's any penalty to armor penetration there. So I guess I'll go for hollow point. This also requires gun nut rank 3 as well, so that's something to consider. Although this one requires gun nut rank 4. No anything in the way of requirements for materials there, interestingly enough. So that's just a little bit of extra damage if you've got the gun nuts at their respective ranks. There's also a damage modifier here if you would like to increase your damage or decrease it even further for what it is, so you can find the perfect matching balance for you. Nice. So getting this weapon is easy. There's actually a couple of unique variants out there. One of them is at the Adam Cat's garage. The other one is at the wreck of the USS Riptide, which I believe is Libertalia. Another one is listed being in the Museum of Freedom, which is in Concord. Really easy to get, so that's an early game starter for you. You can also download a patch that injects it into the leveled list to make it slightly more immersive when you gameplay. Shoot some raiders, they might have it. Maybe some gunners have it. It'll be added to traders and enemies post level 20, so it's not exactly super hard to get, but worth mentioning because some might be confused. A lot of people get confused about how to get stuff. You can use console commands too, I always do. Righto, so here we are outside of Immersive Gunners Plaza. Here's the SIG MCX in first person. Looks pretty good. Also, I've noticed the lens flare. Apparently this character's eyes are cameras. That's weird. That happens in way too many games. This is the second one that I made. This one's the compact, so it's automatic with a short barrel and collapsed stock right there. And this one is the sniper one with the scope and a long barrel advanced receiver for semi-auto shooting. This one's also semi-auto, but with a slightly shorter barrel and an ACOG scope and a flashlight on the side. No tactical plate carriers today. Couldn't be bothered. Got no time to dress up. And I guess we'll get started. Now, it won't last long for me shooting at these guys like this, but we're going to try to get as many kills as we possibly can before we have to move on. Hopefully those at home can see what I'm shooting at right now because it's a little bit distorted by the fog and dust. And we're on. We're on now. That didn't last long at all, so I guess we'll do this all guerrilla warfare style and back off when the heat gets too much. And then rinse and repeat. And we can even pick up some buggy dudes to kill in the meantime, including a giant mantis. Get out of here, no one wants you. Now, they're coming closely now. We'll try to pick off a few ones that are close. They got sort of close there. I was actually worried that I got detected, but it looks like to me that we can get a lot of shots off in VATS here. So we'll get up 4 shots with this fella. This one's a little bit closer, and we'll do the rest with there. That's very good damage. We'll even throw a critical down there just for a little bit of extra spiciness. That seems to do the job, and I suppose we'll just keep shooting them as they're coming closer. Looks like the weather is turning. It might start raining soon. We're sort of in the swampy, boggy end of the map, so that's why it's a little bit like this. Nice hitboxes. All right. Time to go super close quarters mode. This is the short one. Little gunlet, I suppose. It does alright. And, oof. I was not controlling the recoil correctly just then. Maybe we just hip fire this thing. It's got a short barrel. It's sort of attuned to it fairly easily. And there's the bashing animation, just in case you were wondering what that looked like. I generally don't gun bash in this game, but you know, it's a thing that is actually sort of powerful if you spec well for it. And it does alright, but you can definitely feel the power difference between shooting gunners with sneak attack criticals and not, and that's kind of obvious because we're not getting the 4 times multipliers here. But in case of VATS shooting, you can easily do that. And we missed the reload there in third person, but they do exist, and I would ask you to observe it now if I had the chance to show it off, but instead we're just shooting at the gunners like they're nothing. Righto, let's move over to this one. It's got the the ACOG scope on it, so we'll be able to scope out targets slightly easier. We're holding behind this tree okay for now, but we might want to move because there's a couple of dudes I'm thinking they've got MG42s. You've got a laser. You're not that important, but we'll throw some criticals your way just to get you out of the game, I suppose. There we go. Many criticals went into that person. I guess they were just that important. Not that guy. All right, I'm gonna back off a little bit. I think we'll try to regain the sneaky bonuses. So escape artist, thank you. That perk doesn't actually exist. Okay, problem. We've got a lot of fog right now, and I guess that impairs their vision as well. I can just make out the silhouettes, but they've all got sort of Doritos where their head is, or over their heads, so it's like they've been spotted in Battlefield. We'll try to aim high for these guys because we will get a sizable damage increase from that. I always thought about mods having like better locational damage, so it rewards you much better for headshots and also punishes you much worse for headshots against you. Like this person, which I'm going to crit with extreme prejudice. You dropped that MG42, lady. Took her body right out from under her. The head just falls to the ground in slow motion. Love that. Righto. So it looks like it's not that foggy unless night vision is sort of procced here, which is fun. And we'll just get you to bash away there. Funnily enough, when you hit them, it makes the same sound as a knife that hits. That's cool. And you are scary. You get the critical treatment. See ya. And I'll be having that off you, mate. There we go. Oh, look, there's another one. I'm going to be put into Nerd Rage in a second here if we're unlucky. Righto, you go down. And you've just got the laser gun. Alright, we're in Nerd Rage, so we'll make use of it if we can. Well, we got a couple of kills, just one kill with it. That's okay. We're above Nerd Rage threshold, so if we happen to get damaged a little bit in the midst of combat again, we might have another run here. Hopefully more successful this time. We'll see how we go. I like how the gunners dance around. It makes them super hard to hit sometimes. Well, not super hard, but, you know, they don't make it easy on you, that's for sure. Going from the time to kill in Battlefield to the time to kill against these gunners does take a lot more shooting. Standard Bethesda design here, and we're in Nerd Rage again, and we might get the slowdown here if we're lucky. Sometimes you gotta pause the game or do something to that effect. Nope. Alright, maybe we just don't get shot by the MG42 guy. There we go. That would have ended my day very, very quickly if that had come to fruition. And you know what? At this point, I believe these gunners. I think I am in a spot of bother. But we've got so much damage right now that we can one-burst these guys in the head, which is useful for that. And we're going to take the cover coming around the corner. Can't really be pushed right now. We'll go for a critical on the arm. Wanted to hit the head, but that'll have to do. Oh boy. This is going down to the wire here, folks. Oh, that's bad. Might burn to death here. Nah, just kidding. I'm just doing a stim pack. I wonder how far off I was away from a level up here. I reckon I was fairly close. No, not close at all. I'm way further off than I thought. But luckily, I've got a stim pack. That's a nice silhouette shot. That's cool. See, they blind you with those Molotovs sometimes. It's not just the explosion and the damage over time left behind. They blind you sometimes. And looks like we've got one more left, so we'll take out the top one and we'll shoot him with it. And it's a fine time to show off the flashlight here, which I haven't shown off yet. If I were to switch to something else that hasn't got a flashlight. Oh, okay, the flashlight's still there. Have I activated some sort of bug? Maybe. That's kind of weird. Oh, it's a mixing match between the flashlights, what they should be and what they... Oh, there we go. That looks like it's better now. That's interesting. I've never seen a flashlight do that before. Yeah, right. Okay, so now we're going to do this through the night. Want to get a little bit more gameplay with the sniper variant here, so we'll continue pretending to play Call of Duty for a bit longer here before the giant green people show up and mess up everything. And generally I like to let those guys take the gunners out, so we'll just kill these raiders instead, because why shouldn't we? What they're indeed. So yeah, raiders, they're squishy. Hip fire on this thing makes short work of them even at close range. Quite nice. I could improve that even further if I chucked on a laser sight, but that's fine. We're supposed to be sneaky and stealthy with this thing. I feel like laser sights would give you away. That's a big, big bear. And I'm being shot at by something. Right? No, they were just bullets coming out of... I think that there's a super mutant shooting his minigun off at a couple of dudes over in this direction, but the tracers are going through the rocks. Anyways, speaking of super mutants, these guys are a little bit tougher. They're bigger targets though, so maybe we'll be okay against them. Nice, 1,000 damage. Not too sad about that. And I think there's generally a guy up here. We'll try to aggro them so they got the little Doritos above their head, little Mars bars. And that one went behind cover, and annoyingly I can't get through that tiny bits of timber there that's in the way, but it is what it is. Alright, let's get ourselves back into sneaking. This is a little bit risky because we might get detected, but we'll try to do as best as we can. And it looks like it's okay. I'm going to use this time to build some crits up should I need it in the big fight that is yet to come. Very nice. And maybe we'll go for the ACOG scope here. We're that far away that we might be okay with these guys. We're going to get nearly as much damage, but as you can tell, those last couple of shots there, we actually managed to get sneak criticals because we're just that far away, which is good stuff. There's the minigun fella, or one of them. There. And then we can sort of snipe at these guys, not have to worry about being detected because we're that far away. So, isn't that nice? They're putting up a valiant fight, just sort of standing there doing nothing, presumably vibing, but, you know, in the end, they die to a hail of bullets, so that's the only thing we can ask for with a bunch of super mutants. Still not in danger just yet. There's an enforcer there. Let's use a critical here, just to see what kind of damage we can do. Very nice. Quite like that. Got a treat, you say? I have many. They're called 5.56 NATO rounds. You've got a stick, so kind of not the best idea to lure him in and be backed in a corner. But he had two actually, so if I had disarmed him, he would have pulled the other one out of his ass. Alright, Operation Stealth is over, but luckily for me, I can just sort of shoot them into the head until they drop. I'm going to switch over to the close quarters one because this might get a slightly better time to kill. It will against butchers, of course, but they're not big top tier lads. I think there's a mutant hound in here needs to be killing. Hello? He goes down. And it looks like we're about due for a level up here, which could be used at a more advantageous time. But these guys aren't spawning with weapons. Wonder if it's because I had uninstalled combined arms. Probably was. But we're kind of running out of 5.56s here, so we ought to be slightly more efficient about this if we can, and don't worry, we will be. Last time I met this guy, he had 80% damage reduction, but I have installed the mod to its original capacity, original thing, so he doesn't have that much damage reduction. And we can cut through these mutants like you wouldn't believe here. That's so good. And now that leaves us to the big guy. One of the Geralds. There's two actually. They use this one twice. I don't know the difference, but this one generally doesn't kill me as much because I can get on these rocks and he has no idea that I'm here. Gotta wonder how much damage I'd get on the head here just to finish this off in bats. And go for a critical. Very nice. Well, looks like I've got this one on ice. So we'll just spam some criticals until he falls down. Keep going. Don't stop. And looks like one more should do it. I think I've run out. There we go. That was 1,200 damage there. Bit of concentrated fire giving me that extra damage mixed with the criticals and proper sneak criticals. And that's done. And you know what? I think that is about it for the SIG MCX. I highly recommend this mod. It's good fun. If you are a fan of this thing in real life, then I think you'll find that it is a very potent weapon to use that I wouldn't say is overpowered at all. In fact, the DPS is fairly vanilla on this thing, so, you know, I think it is a worthy addition. It's not too cheaty, it's not too powerful, it's certainly not as powerful as you can get assault rifles, although you might get the rate of fire a little bit higher. You don't have gigantic ammo capacities at 80. And the customization and all the tacticalness, I think, is really fun to utilize as well. So, links in the description the mod shall be there. Hopefully it's on Xbox too, because, or Xbox One or Series X, so the console players can enjoy this one, because I think there's a lot to be made with this mod. I always enjoy quality weapon mods. This one is no exception, and I would highly recommend you download this thing. I'm not really the biggest fan of the MCX, but even in this state, I think is a really cool weapon. Also worth mentioning that, again, compatible with all of the mods that make you wear weapons when you're not utilizing them, courtesy of classic holstered weapons, meaning you get a nice apparel piece with it as well. Weird lighting glitch on my hair there. Anyways, that's about it for me. Thank you very much for watching, guys.